All right, we are live. Hello, hello, everybody. Good evening. It is Sunday on July 23rd, 2023. If you didn't notice that little pause there regarding what the date was, I only said the date about a dozen times today. You think I
Yeah, I'm
know
about
by
to say, of all things for you not to remember.
yes, considering I literally said it about a dozen times. But in any case, that just shows you all what kind of day I'm having. I feel like this day has been multiple days. But any case, how is everybody today? Want to check to see that we are streaming where we need to be streaming. So meanwhile, while I do that, I'm going to have Kitty just talk a little bit about the title for today, and then she and I are going to share a lot about today's energy that's going on and why we chose the title we chose. So go ahead, Kitty, take it away for now.
Well, we are, as of yesterday was a big astrological day. We had Venus, which retrogrades every 18 months and will retrograde for 40 days and 40 nights in the sign of Leo. It entered Leo June 5th. And of course, we had the time of Leo start tomorrow. The sun moved into Leo. Excuse me. And we have a very kind of, and just this week alone, we've had several big energies. We had the new moon in Cancer, and we had the north nodes and south nodes switch its axis for the next 18 months. And what that means is it's in Libra and Aries right now. So because we're talking about Venus retrograde, we're always talking about, when we talk about Venus, we talk about Taurus and we talk about our Libra energy because Venus rules those two energies. And so the fact that we have this south node that's just moved in to greet basically this Venus retrograde is an important piece of stepping into this Leo energy. And of course, Venus is in Leo in this retrograde. And Leo is the sign of self. Leo is the sign of our confidence. It is the sun. It is the center of who we are. It is our power. And all cultures that we have found worship the sun, watch the sun. And even in Christianity, the word sun has some additional meaning. And really, they watched how the sun moved through the skies and then again watched how the stars were in relationship always to the sun. And so it's a very, very important time. Leo is the fifth house energy, which is all about ourself, all about our creativeness, all about stepping into who we are. And with this Venus retrograde, that's what we're here to talk about tonight. Joanne invited me to talk about, is because this is a very important time for the re-examine, re-evaluating, re-looking, and stepping in to not only in this great power of who we are, but our very authenticness because of our Aries North Node. Chiron went also direct, went retrograde on the 19th, which is always about our authentic self. So very much about our authentic step into our power. And now it isn't always authentic, our power. It isn't always those things, but this is a particular time that we're being asked to look at the places where we have been in harmony. Again, this is Venus, Libra. And in that harmony, what have we not stepped into our own power? Have we not understood or bought into that is about ourselves, our Leo energy? So they're all very, very related. And it's not power like this. It is power that is more even and more about what my power is not the same as Joanne's. And me allowing Joanne, learning that my authentic power is not threatened by Joanne's authentic power, not making it be very personal. So that's what we're here chatting about tonight.
Yes, I love that. So we are streaming. We are on Twitter, we are on YouTube, and of course, we're on Facebook. So, everyone who pops in, let us know that you are there. Say hi. And let us know where your Venus if you happen to have your natal chart, if you know your natal chart, where your Venus sits, what house Venus is in, and also what sign Venus is in, because that's the energy that's really going to be amplified during this retrograde. So you'll have an understanding to what is going on for you. Now, I know I say this every time Kitty and I come together. Now, we come together because we want to play, but the end, Kitty as opposed to the but. And we come together because we are so passionate about sharing insight with you, so you can really understand what's actually going on in your world. There are really no surprises when you do understand your astrology chart. When you can understand it. Now, I know there's many astrologers out there that basically say astrology is something you can look at. It may work, it may not work, but I take astrology to heart. It's more than a tool for me. It is literally my GPS. And because it's my GPS, it helps me to better understand when I'm going through whatever it is I'm going through, so I do not overthink, overstress the process of it all. And that's why Kitty and I come together, to help you better understand what area of your life is going to be reviewed, because the retrograde's about review. And I just want to give a shout out. We have Tulane Conti watching. She's one of my sister's friends. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Tulane, if you happen to know your natal chart and you do know where your Venus and what sign it's in, put that in the comments, and perhaps Kitty and I can give you some insight to what's going on for you. Now, Kitty, I know you and I have shared about this energy, where it is for us, but just for the sake of conversation and for viewers to get excited as you and I are excited about it, talk about where your Venus is, and then, of course, I'll share where mine is.
So in Venus retrograde, the house it's placed in is very important, because that's kind of, think of it as the mat that's being shaken out. The house is where the conversations take place. And mine happens to be in the 12th house. The 12th house is the house of Pisces. The 12th house is the house of flow and spirit. Neptune lives in the 12th house. But the 12th house is also the house of secrets, what is brought from the unconscious to the conscious. So for me, Venus retrograde, mine happens to be retrograde in Sagittarius, is, again, it's what retrogrades are about is they're gifts from the universe. I saw that today and I thought, I'm stealing that. Because, the dreaded Mercury retrograde, it's about the internal energy, but it gives us a pause to really look at what is coming through us, our contact with source, and really take that gift time to refocus it, especially Venus, re-examine it, reevaluate it. And so in Sagittarius, it's very much always about truths. And it's about the truths of how I'm showing up in a relationship, in abundance, my relationship with money as well, in abundance, and how I have perhaps been feeling limited or stagnated, and that the truth of who I am is not stepping forth. And this is a time in Leo for it to step forth. So it is a time for me to share. And it's been for me somewhat buried in the unconscious. It's about it coming to a aha much more for me, an aha of a truth. And as a matter of fact, in a yoga meditation today that I do with another friend, Tamra, on every sun transition, we were clearing out the chakras, because Leo, though it is the crown chakra, it is the crown chakra that has understanding about what the heart needs and roots us into the ground. So it's really the alignment from the root to the crown. And it's very, very much about, for me, was very clear, was speaking not only my truth, but my pain, those truths, not doing that harmony Libra thing that's the South Node of, oh, I don't want to share that. That makes people uncomfortable. Really being able to speak it, not ask somebody else to solve it, but at least speak it for myself. And of course, my friend Joanne there, I already know this, has her Venus in Pisces, right?
That's correct.
And in the 9th house.
That's correct.
So she is shaking that mat of higher learning. She is shaking. So we have some similar things that are happening because she is shaking the house that is Sagittarius, though hers is in Pisces. So my Pisces house has Sagittarius on it, and her Sagittarius house has Pisces on it.
And yours is in the 12th house.
Right. That is the
which is associated with Pisces.
Right.
So see that beautiful like little intertwine going on?
Right. And so yours is about shaking the mat of higher truths, higher understanding, travel, moving things around in a higher level of truth, a flow of truth, a flow of moving forward. And of course, her lesson is all about, always when we talk about Pisces, is spirits, and hers is about wellness, because it happens to be in this transit working with that house of Virgo for her, this Venus retrograde. And it's about how does she receive? How does she, if she's always busy and always doing the heavy lifting, she's not receiving in the flow. So it really is about putting things down for her and having a higher understanding of what is coming her way. She doesn't have to do the heavy lifting.
Yes. And it's so funny that Kitty says that, because she and I chatted about this earlier today. And I want to bring this to the table because I'm always speaking about when physical symptoms show up in our bodies, to pay attention. And more importantly, to really pay attention to what the metaphysical message is, or the intuitive message is. And I shared with Kitty today that my tricep, my right tricep, and I'm pointing to it in case some of you don't know what a tricep is, because you don't work out, but the back of my arm, my tricep, since last night has been literally pulsating, and also to the point where what would be the best word for it? Fluttering. And it would do it off and on. And along with the fluttering, it was almost a contraction where it was painful. And it caught my attention. And again, because I'm all about the physical symptom, what is my arm trying to tell me? The first thing that did not come to my mind is, oh my God, what the hell's wrong with me? That was not my thought at all. My thought was really like, okay, back of my arm, so it has to do with something from my past. So what is it trying to tell me? So I sat quietly, evaluated, asked my tricep what it was trying to tell me, and then I asked Kitty to give me her intuitive insight to what it was trying to tell me. And Kitty, I'm sure you remember what it is you said.
Well, I said, I didn't say it, so I have to paraphrase it, because it was very clear for her to stop the heavy lifting. Stop. And this was before we even looked at all of these other placement. And she immediately went to her understanding of, oh, no, about weight. No, it's not about weights. It's the heavy lifting in your life. It's the always being busy, always keep going to, and about putting things down so you can learn about what is also unfolding in front of you.
Exactly. And for you women out there, and I'm sure many of you women might experience this as well, because it is really about what I hear from it is coming out of the masculine of always having to do something, having to be the one to lift the heavy stuff, having to be the one to do something, where, as Kitty mentioned, let go of the heaviness. So putting down whatever it is you're doing, so you can actually have your hands open, so you can actually begin to receive what's coming in. So, of course, my mind, as Kitty said, I went right away to the part of, okay, working out with light weights do not work for me. That is not going to happen. And, of course, she reconfirmed and brought me back down to earth and said, no, has absolutely nothing to do with your weight lifting, has more to do with you just being that constant go, 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 go. So I share this with each and every one of you so you can pay attention, because we are, in addition to this amazing Venus retrograde in Leo, we are in this portal period where, let's go back to July 7th, which was actually called the 777 portal. Happens once every so many years when we have that 777, and the 7 energy activated when we think about it, that Libra energy. Because it's the 7th house. It's that portal is also a continuation in regards to, if you look at today's date, 2323, which is another major portal that we are in. And I'm only going to speak a little bit of this, only because I'm going to be sharing a lot of this at a later date. But that 2323 plays a huge role to a variety of different things, such as when we think of the 23, we have 23 chromosomes within our body in regards to our DNA. So resetting our DNA. Another factor is when we think about the energy of the 2323 in July, that 7 vibration vibrates the 7 days of the week and your 7 chakras. The 7 chakras are a big part of this because, again, when we are in portal season, I'm going to call it, is what I just heard. When we're in portal season, it activates our chakra system. So every one of us are going to experiencing an activation, which means an expansion in each and every one of your chakras. Now, not every chakra is going to stand out to you. Not every chakra is going to be like, boom. One chakra specifically will stand out. Now, in theory, interesting enough, when we think about the arms in itself, because mine was the back of the arm, you're probably saying, well, what chakra would the arms be associated with? And believe it or not, the arms are actually associated with the throat. So what that's actually activating for me is my throat chakra, which does not surprise me. So pay attention to where you might actually be feeling the physical symptom, or if you do have challenge with an illness or disease and it does flare up during this energy, pay attention to where it's flaring up in your body and pay attention to the message that it's showing up as, because there's a message there. And I just want to put this disclaimer out this way here, that Kitty and I are not doctors. If whatever the reasons are, your symptom continues for a longer period of time and you get to determine what's wrong for you, please go get yourself checked out just to make sure it's nothing serious. Chances are it's just the alignments, the activations that you're experiencing through this 2323 portal. And I'm just going to finish off with this one last line just to keep you at the edge of your chair. This 2323 portal is actually an activation, and we're literally 16 days away as of today to our Lionsgate 88 energy, which that energy is going to spiral the next 3 years. I'm sure I have you at the edge of your chair right now, kind of curious to know what the heck's going to happen then. Stay tuned for more of that. So let's go back into the amazing Venus retrograde in Leo energy. I know I'm super excited about this energy with all that's going on. So, Kitty, how can our viewers benefit? What can they do to benefit from this Venus Leo retrograde?
Well, this is really, I was just talking to, we're stepping into this new earth. And what they could do to really benefit from it is understand that this is as Joanne was just saying, this bigger shift, this bigger portal. And that really very importantly, and I heard it said very succinctly this week, manifestations, things coming to you, you understanding is not about worthiness, it's about frequency and vibrations. So becoming very aware of who you are and how you show up. I would tell everyone, find out about your horoscope, how you show up, how you are you being as authentic as you can be? And also, so it's more about reflecting and taking the time to reflect, taking the time to be quiet, whether you're a journal person, a person who wants to be out in nature. One of the things about 23, as Joanne was saying, is that's our DNA. This is a shift that is very, very deep. And I know, there's lots of jokes about the awoke and awakening and all of those things, but it's real, obviously, because what's the first thing comedy does is make fun of really what's happening when we don't know. And so really taking the time to think of who is it I want to be? How is it I want to show up in the world? And for me, I'm always looking at this these days, my judgments, because my judgments are usually about that I have bought in to a set of norms and rules and regulations, and therefore I'm using something outside of myself to measure against. And the only thing to measure against is the person I was yesterday.
Exactly.
And that's about why we said this is about stepping into your power, but it's not power over. It's not my job to tell anybody else how to live. And so really becoming very aware of that. Doesn't mean everything has to be okay. It doesn't mean you don't use your voice. Look what just happened. I mean, one of the things I was told is to talk about the pain, that something is bothering me, to say it. That doesn't mean I'm asking somebody to solve it, but it does mean I'm moving it out of me. So that's this Leo. This is a very powerful Leo energy. It's all of these transitions since March are the first time this energy is at that divine level. So divinely, it can be as simple as, what do I want people to say about me at the end of my life? I've been very aware of that. How do you want to be seen? And if I've bought into a list or a set of norms that has never felt quite right, am I the lion? Am I courageous enough? Do I have enough pride as the head of the pride to step into being that person?
Yes. And so interesting that Kitty leads with that statement in reference to how do you want to be remembered. I want to give a shout out. I'm hoping she's still on with us. Rosemary Pepe it's her birthday today. So happy birthday to Rosemary Pepe on an amazing day for your birthday. Being that it is the 23rd on this 23 portal gateway into this continuous energy that we're going to continue to feel and vibrate towards. So happy birthday to you. Enjoy your day. I hope you had an amazing birthday. And when we think about this energy that we are in and moving into and continuing to move in, I know that the 777 portal that we just had was powerful. Today's portal is powerful. And I was so excited and over focus, hyper focus on the 23 portal that I totally forgot to even get on to a live yesterday and talk about the 22 portal, which was, that portal yesterday was a combination of the master builder. And when you really write that date out, that 7/22/2023, you had our triple chew energy, which is about remembering to have faith and trust where you are. Because a big part of anytime we have a fear, and I had forgotten the gentleman who actually quoted this statement, but anytime we're in a space of fear or stress, it's because we are literally out of alignment with trusting. So the next time you feel like you are stressing out or you're in fear of something, take a breath and ask yourself, can I trust where I am right now? And that's really what it is just trust. Because everything that we're experiencing is a part of where we're supposed to be going. And these energies are helping us transition into this amazing, whoever it is where we are. And I don't know about you, Kitty, but I would rather people start saying to me all those amazing things that they might say to me at the time that I cross over. Although, and this is jokingly, of course, considering I'm going to be living to, this part's not joking, considering I'm going to be living to about 106, 110 years old, I don't know how many people that know me are going to be living that long as well. So I ask that you have any kind words to speak of me about, please let me know them now. I do not need to wait until the day that I cross over for all of you to be standing there with a list of, oh, Joanne Angelbadi Cologne was this amazing woman. Let me know that now. I would like to hear it now.
Yeah, okay? It's not so much about what they're going to say, but what would you like them to say? How do you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered for the person that always told everybody what to do, or that people walked on eggshells because you tended to be judging, or the person that had to have things a certain way? Or, and if that is fine with you, that's great. But what is it you want to be and seen? Not about anybody else judging it, but because it's important to you.
Yes. Well, I'm going to put this out there just so everybody knows this. So anyone, once the time I do crossover, how I would like to be remembered is that know that anywhere you are where there's weights, whether it's in the gym, the beach, the park, wherever you're home, know that my spirit is going to be lurking around and I'm going to be looking over you and you're going to hear my little voice speak to you about whatever it is you're doing. So note that.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
You know, sometimes it's the, you know, we know we're this, so, or maybe some people don't, this very soul body that has come before and gathers its information. And we've been in this release of karma for the last back, you know, starting back in 2012 in the last Jupiter cycle, that we have now begun the newest expansions, because rather than mankind repeating and repeating, that's what this awakening is. We're willing and ready and able. All of the three are lined up to let some of this go and evolve into our next mankind evolution. And we're doing it collectively.
Yes. This is a we thing, no longer an I thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a team. It's very important. I mentioned this the other day during one of my lives. It's very important that if you do not have a support team, it's very important to start finding your support team. Start looking for people that can hold space for you. Start looking for people that when you do need to vent about whatever is going on in your life at that time, it's not for someone to give you a solution unless you ask them to give you a solution. It's really so you have a place just to dump whatever it is that's on your mind, and you have that person or persons that can actually support that space for you. And it's very important that you have that now, you know, whether it's your mentors, your healers, your whatever it is, whatever title you want to give them, so that you're not here alone doing this on your own, because you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to have a group team, not just your spirit team, which of course they're there too, but someone like Kitty and I, where I know when I have things going on in my mind, I reach out to Kitty and I pour it on to her, you know, and she listens. And if there's a need for some suggestions or whatever not, then she provides them. And then once we're done, we're done. That's
right.
it.
And the same thing with Joanne. You know, today we had a discussion about a very strange dream I had. You know, I mean, and it can be in a group. It doesn't have to be everybody is a guru. It's about what's the part I hold. And that's the funniest thing about this switch and this access of Libra and Aries. Aries is the North Node. It's a spark of our own soul's journey. So if you don't know your own North Node's energy, what is being sparked right now? What are you asked to start? It's Sia's I'm Unstoppable. And it's about letting go of all of the times, again, that we have chosen harmony, going along to get along, and not even always knowing that that's what we're doing. I mean, how many conversations I can remember in my life now where I was so dogmatic about something, and only to now realize I didn't even feel that strongly about it, but it was more about being right than it was about what I was saying, you know, that there was a right and a wrong. And now there's so many shades of gray.
Oh yeah. I mean, in the bigger New Earth energy, the concept of right or wrong, good or bad, doesn't exist anymore. Good or bad, there's no such thing as good or bad, and there's no such thing as right or wrong. It's just a neutral energy, and everyone's right and everyone's wrong. It's a neutral energy,
right? And it doesn't mean you accept everything if it doesn't resonate with you, but it doesn't mean I have to fix them either. Exactly. And I'm still taking care of mankind. I can offer and then step back. So
exactly. And remembering that with this amazing Venus energy, and before I go further, just saying hello to Tanya that just hopped in. With this amazing Venus energy, it's also a big reminder, even though yes, it's in retrograde, it's also a big reminder that self-love is a big part of this process of reviewing. Because if we want to love another person, and this I think really goes really very well with my tricep story about putting down the heavy and being open to receive. If we want to be able to receive love from somebody else, we have to learn to receive love from ourselves. We have to be willing to give ourselves the things that we would wish and hope somebody gives to us. So give yourself the thing first, allow yourself to be open to receiving, and then that energy will start to mirror back at you. So during this Venus energy, and wherever you do, again, have your Venus on your chart, pay attention to what it is you need to receive during this period, this retrograde. Now, Kitty, you mentioned earlier in our class that this is um, a 40-day and 40-night retrograde period. Talk a
Yes.
little bit on that.
Well, it's about 6 weeks usually. So that's 42. This one just is a little bit shorter. So it happens to be 40 days and 40 nights from when it actually went in yesterday to when it goes off on the 3rd, which is very early. And so, which is, when I say it's biblical, it's biblical. It's really Venus retrograde really is a gift. It's not a great time for all brand new things unless your particular Venus is looking to start, but it's about restarting, re-looking, re-examining, reviewing. Because Venus rules our abundance, Venus rules our partnership, our esoteric energies, our beauty. And so it's amazing in Leo because it's very much about standing in the power of those things we choose to do and to love and to be. And in the time of Leo, it's a double piece of information. And of course, the 8-8 portal is all about transformation. It's about where am I going to roar?
Yes. Yeah. And what I also want to bring to the table, because I was just hearing it as Kitty was saying about Venus being beauty. During a retrograde, especially with the Venus in Leo, this is not a time to go for a makeover. And I'm going to repeat that again. This is not a time to go for a makeover. So if you're looking to change your hair color, please don't. Wait until after the 40 days, 40 night, and then give yourself that 7-day shadow period to go and get the makeover. This is not the time for that. This is about review. And I actually say that not just for the Venus retrograde, but any retrograde is never a really good time to do any type of makeovers because it doesn't go really so well.
Well, except a little bit in your home. If in your Venus retrograde, you're organizing, reestablishing, going through, that's a different kind of makeover. Right?
I'm speaking of the beauty part of it. I'm not speaking of if you're doing things in your home, that's fine. But if you're gonna, and even if you want to, like, let's say, go to the store and get new makeup, that's fine. But no makeovers with your hair. Leave your hair alone. Give yourself the time where this period's over, and then you can go and do whatever it is you want to do with your hair. Because if you do it before or while we're in this retrograde, that could create something that you're not going to be very happy about. So, anything else, feel free. Declutter, reorganize, reset your body system. Great time, I believe, because again, when we talk about Venus rather, it is about the beauty. So it is a great time to reevaluate your workout regimen, see where you're at with that and what you want to change with it. So this way here, by time this retrograde moves forward, you'll be in that process to make those changes. Again, review is about this retrograde. Right. And it's powerful time.
Remember, we have Saturn retrograde, we have Neptune retrograde, we have Pluto, that's a biggie, retrograde. We have Chiron that's gone retrograde. We now have Venus retrograde. This is retrograde season. So it is a gift of a pause, of how do I refocus my flow? How do I look at the structures I'm transforming with Pluto and my Neptune? How is spirit internally helping me work into this next level? Because that's our contact anyway. That's where our source lives, is internal. That's a very hard concept. It's not about necessarily calling it in, it's calling it through. And I became very aware today in a conversation about, because Leo is our ego. Also, when you bring online new technology and you're a manager or you're a worker and you have to learn the new technology, you have to learn what's different from the old technology. This is what our DNA is doing. We are coming online with new technology. So our ego it's a wonderful opportunity to work with our ego. And I said to my friend, I really don't like the word ego because there's energy around. Many people will say that's just your ego talking. Well, of course it's my ego. My ego. So I'm calling it my human manager. My human manager energy is learning something new, how to bring this online, on board, uploaded. And so it's an opportunity then to look at what kinds of things have my human manager been partaking in that I realize is not going to serve this new technology of who I am. So
Yes, yeah. And I do believe that with this 2323 portal, where again, our 23 chromosomes, I do believe many of us are going to experience activations from the third eye into the crown. When we think about it, based on our ego, based on the higher wisdom, based on our intuition, all this amazing energy that we have, where we have, again, we have Neptune in Pisces in retrograde. So many of us are experiencing these spiritual uploads of tapping into our intuition, becoming more attuned to our senses. And there's a lot of buzzing going on right now. When I mean buzzing, Kitty and I were in a class together, and there was a participant who was speaking about hearing buzzing, a lot of buzzing going on. And that buzzing is definitely about the ears being activated based on these portals. So the ears could be activated. You may find that you're waking with a headache. And that's the crown. That's the ego, because it's the headache. It's like, oh my God, pressure.
And the head is the chakra. So it's the spine. It's the relay system. That is what the Leo is in control of, is partially the heart, partially the spine, all of that nervous system, everything that brings the energy, because it's fire, to who we are. Leo is the embers. It is what hypnotizes us. It's why we sit around the fire at the end, poke the embers. We see the sparks that are Aries, and we just kind of watch. It's mesmerizing. It's that kind of pulsating, like hearing, seeing, heat, or even the back of your arm.
Yeah, because as I was saying about the headache and the buzzing, my tricep was starting to do its thing. I was like, okay, gotcha. Pay attention here. So yeah. So again, as Kitty and I share this, yes, we want to help you become more attuned and awaken to this energy, to what it is your body's saying to you. What's on your chart? Where is Venus? Where is Leo? What's in your fifth house energy? What's, because of the 2323 portal energy, because of that 777 vibration, what's in all of your chart? So this way you can have a better understanding and be able to utilize this GPS to guide you and get you to where you have to go. So I think it's time to pull some cards to help out folks. There she goes. What card is that?
This is Connect to Gaia. This is by the way, this is the Avalon by Jeanette Biro Awakening Avalon deck.
Got it. Yes.
And this is connecting to Gaia. Find the balance. There's that Libra energy in nature, in the humanness of who we are, in the human manager, because it's the perspective. I watched a TikTok today about a gentleman said, if you're feeling in a bad mood, go hug a tree. Just go hug it, because there's a wonderful book on the bestseller list all about how the root system of trees communicate to each other. And when a tree is unhealthy, they all connect through the roots to try to bring health to the tree. And if it dies, there's a mourning that goes on in the trees around it. So, and they're able to measure. It's a great book. And it's real. So when you're hugging a tree, you're hugging a network. And that is what Joanne was saying earlier. Find people to support you. Find that perspective so your human manager understands. Buy into systems that resonate with you, not the ones maybe you have been told that that's the way it is.
I love that. And the card that came out as Kitty was chatting about her card, and so perfectly aligned, is the master teacher, master teachers. And in this energy that we are in, as you are looking for your team, your support team, this could be a perfect time for you to start asking for your master teacher. As the expression goes, when a student is ready, the teachers will appear. Now, before I go further with this card, I was watching I think it was a TikTok earlier, and the woman who's speaking, I forget her name, she's actually a pastor, and she was saying in regards to how, because we keep talking about forgiveness, it's time to forgive, and so many people are in that energy of forgiving. But she made a really good point, which I'm gonna try to keep in mind for myself, is when you are saying you forgive somebody, think about when you hear somebody else talk about that person. How do you feel when you're hearing somebody talk about the person that you, in your mind, you said you forgive? Or how do you feel if you see that person? Do you find yourself walking the other way to avoid them? That's an indication that you haven't really forgave them. So something just to think about, because it definitely got my thoughts going. My eyebrow was lifting up a little bit. So back to our card, the master teacher. The chakra here is third eye, which is the visionary energy, which, interesting enough, and we won't talk too much about it, but the next full moon happens to be in Aquarius, which is about the visionary.
Yes, and it is. And it is Joanne's full moon.
Yes, it's mine. Just so you all know, it's my moon. I'm more than happy to share it with all of you. Why is it my moon? Because I have an Aquarius moon. That's why it's my moon. I want to give a shout out to Anne that just popped on. Hello, hello. And when we think about our number here, that's that 3-8 energy, which is 11. So it is about your community. So start seeking out your support group. So you have people to support you. You have people to cheer you on when you got going on. You need a cheerleader. You need people to say, yay, good job. The same way you need someone that's going to stand there and hold your hand when you're not feeling your greatest. And the same way you need someone that's going to literally push you when you're sort of in that stuck space, because we have to. It's so important now. This is definitely not the energy to sort of stay stuck, because with 5 planets in retrograde, whatever is not working for you, please don't let the universe push you through, because when the universe pushes you through, there's no parachute. You're going down and you're going to get bruised. So do it on your own. Find out where these planets are on your chart. Find out what house they're in, because it gives you the theme. And find those master teachers that you need.
Right.
And that's your
ask for help. Answer, seek knowledge. I used to say that to the kids all the time. Ask. Answer. You want an answer? Seek knowledge. Find out what it is. Ask. And then for my final card tonight, goes right with this.
Before you go further, Joe is watching. Let's say hi to Joe.
Hi, Joe.
How are you? Our favorite teacher.
Our favorite teacher.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my vision declaration right now. So,
there you go.
Practice the pause. And it is feel as if you're on track. And that's this Leo energy. Feel it. Feel I am who I am, and feel I am on track. And even if it's not clearly laid out, it's letting go of that. I have a plan, that I know I'm doing the next best thing for me. That's what I'm doing. I'm feeling it. And when you talk about with 5 planets in retrograde, it really is about feeling the plan of who I want to be, what the vision is of what I see I am that I am. And removing the judgments around it, removing, wow, where have I signed those social contracts, Joanne, we've been talking about? Where have I signed up for something that no longer serves who I am? So this is the time of Leo. Get your roar going.
Yes, yes. And as Kitty says, in regards to clearing your contract, because it no longer serves you. Now remember to understand that just because you think it no longer serves you, you do need to learn the lesson from it before you can clear it. So make sure you learned what that contract was for so you can clear it, because it's not that cut and dry and like, okay, I'm just not going to do this contract. You need to learn the lesson. Otherwise, you do have that free will, which in my opinion, there's no such thing as a free will, because if you have to come back later and redo what you didn't do because you chose not to in this lifetime, that does not constitute as free will.
And
Anyway,
that's good to know about Venus retrograde, because it is a redo time. So things you may have thought you've let go of may present themselves in a new way for the understanding of that lesson. And again, that human manager, that's what I'm going to call the ego from now on. That human manager is learning new technologies, learning. And this time we have an opportunity, instead of someone telling us how to put it together, we have an opportunity to teach the manager the system we want to participate in.
exactly. And the card that I pulled, I think is a perfect card to end our live with, because literally it's what we started with. So this is like a full circle moment right as we speak, and it really does align with everything. The word is powerful. So that aligns because that's what Kitty keeps talking about, your power, being in your power, not about how strong you are, but your power. Now, interesting, the color is the solar plex energy. And when we think about Leo, Leo is ruled by the sun. And what color is the sun? Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So that, again, trusting that you do have your free will, you also have willpower. The willpower to be able to do the things that you signed up to do. Because remember, you had the conversation way before you were born that you set down whomever it is you want to refer to as your higher power. You and that person sat down together and looked at everything. You had choices. Your higher power gave you. We're gonna imagine your higher power gave you 3 lists, and on those 3 lists there were, let's say, 20 different items, so a total of, let's say, 60 items, and you got to choose which items you wanted to create that contract that you created for this lifetime. So you chose this journey in this lifetime. So your willpower is to be able to complete, learn the lessons, learn the experience. Because through those experiences and through those lessons, and Kitty's gonna, this is gonna bounce into something we were connected to early on. Through those lessons and experiences is how you actually activate the gifts of, let's say, whether you're an empath or a healer. You need to experience your journey before you can actually do the work you came here to do. So if you don't experience the journey, you don't have any hands-on techniques to do your work. So utilize your power.
And of course, the solar plexus is the mantra, I know. This is the gut feeling. This is what that energy is about. Stepping into your power, the sun is, I know. I know that I know I am that I am.
Exactly. And then we have our beautiful number 44. That's 4 energy, very much associated with the moon's energy, Cancer, balance, stability, the home, your shelter, your work, your soul's work, and your body. And that double 4 is our 8 energy, which is what this portal, these portals, the 777, the 2323, let's not forget the 22, and all the other portals leading right up to that Lion's Gate 88. So right there, the abundance that we are moving into, the harmony that we are moving into, the fame that we are moving into, because we all have the ability to live in fame, to be famous, no matter how you see yourself as famous. So I think that's a great card to end our day with.
Yes,
all that being said, to everyone who's here joining us tonight, thank you so much for being here. I'm not seeing comments, so I don't know if there are any. I don't think there. You have any comments over there?
No, other than hi.
So. Oh, okay. Hi is good. We like to be high. So yes. So Kitty and I will come back and play some more. as needed, and I'm sure there is so much more to be needed since we have this amazing full moon that takes place on what's
The
what's the
1st
name
of August.
Oh my God, August 1st is the first new moon.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. When we think about that energy right off the back, let's see, we're gonna have that would be in the order of or backwards of that we have 7, 8, 9. When we think about that energy, because 8 and 1 is 9. That's an interesting energy for a full moon. We'll come
Yes,
back.
it is.
And we'll
It's a
definitely
very
see that.
interesting, and it's a very busy aspect day. Very, very busy.
Very, very yes.
And it's at 2:32 p.m.
2:32 p.m. So that works into our 7 energy again. We're back to that 7. We cannot get away from the 7 Libra energy.
Which is our year's energy. Libra. These are lessons. We're working with the golden shadow of harmony, but harmony of ourselves versus harmony of some unwritten list of social norms, rules, laws that we participate in. So very much.
All right, everybody. We will be back. But for now, enjoy the rest of your night, day, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Shrinking my screen.